Can you hear me, Kate? You're very low.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can hear you, but it's low.
How about now?
Knock, knock.
Yeah, who's there?
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Eileen, we're gonna get started. Good evening. I'd like
Okay.
to call tonight's Candidates Town Board meeting to order.
Supervisor Vastola,
Present,
Councilman Stat, I assume is not going to be here.
necessarily absent.
Okay. Councilman Gronwell,
Here.
Councilwoman Crowley,
Present.
Councilman Mitchell.
Here. Okay, our CEO, Joseph Miller, will lead us in our pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joe. Pleasure of the board to move last month's minutes.
I'll move last month's minutes. This is Terry.
I'll second.
Kate second. No discussion. Those in favor? Aye. That carries. Privilege of the floor. I have a few, but I'll save them for later.
I'd like to talk about the propane thing.
Well, we've got a resolution, so we could do it under that. That would be great.
Okay, good.
Yep. Okay, got the minutes, from planning board. You see all the communications with any questions there. And number 8, when I say free signing course, that's the, American Sign Language. They have a 5-week program. It's an hour a day starting at 10 o'clock at Mueller's, and it's a great program. I'm intending to attend that myself. Reports, town clerk.
Paying to the supervisor for the general fund, $1,241.26. To the supervisor for water billing, $12,872.90. DEC decals, $3,426.44. And animal population control fund, $17, for a total disbursement of $17,557.60.
17,557.60.
Yes, $17,557.60.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the DEC hunting license sales began, started out about at the normal rate, and most of the hunters were already aware they would not be getting the special paper anymore. Not much they can do about it.
We're gonna try and get him some nice stock.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's all I have.
Any questions for the town clerk? I'll make a motion to approve her report,
I'll second.
and Rick seconds. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries. You see the historian report, I've been asking her to research just a little bit about our post office, so she's been going after that among a few other things. And getting her up to speed on a few other items as well.
74 years, we had our own post office.
Yes, we were a thriving metropolis.
We didn't.
Yeah. Back in the day. So that's a historian report. CEO, Joe Miller, anything for us beyond the report?
Joe, I had a question about the short-term rental list from last month. I just had a chance to take a look at it.
Okay.
There's 41 short-term rentals on the list, but the total says 39, and there's 2 that say -1. Did they convert back from short-term rental?
Yeah, so the properties sell and then I have to go back in the system,
Because the new owner is not.
continuing as short term.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Planning board, Ted Mayhood.
Planning board met on July 22nd. We didn't have any applications to process. We did review the town code chapter 92 sewers, and we We'll put recommendation. We'll be finalizing that and we'll get it to you at your next meeting. Other than that, Paul Miller is going to submit his resignation at this month's meeting, so we're looking for a full-time and an alternate member as of August. And that's all, unless you have questions. Oh, the comp plan committee, they're planning to send the survey by the end of August. Everything's finalized and it's checking the last.
It looks real good. I've been on the inside, looking at the info at candidates.org because I've got admin for that. And also the MailChimp platform. So it's pretty good, real good, actually. They did a
Yeah.
nice job.
Are we gonna encourage residents to use Chrome so that they don't run into those Microsoft errors?
It's a good point. I don't know if we're gonna specify. We should. specify
We shouldn't,
that.
yes, we should encourage it.
You know, and I got problems when I use Chrome as well.
Really?
I did.
There's a fix. If you Google, what is it? Is it MailChimp or is it SurveyMonkey?
MailChimp.
Okay, if you survey MailChimp using Chrome, it'll tell you what has to be updated in your settings.
Yeah. Okay.
Microsoft, they were like, yeah, it really doesn't like it.
Yeah. I've tried it with a number of
I
browsers.
think
and
Kate
machines.
mentioned.
Good,
Sure, they're aware of it.
great.
Thank you. ZBA, no report. They will have a meeting in 2 days, so we'll have a report next meeting. Highway Superintendent Jeremy.
Ready? So we finished all of our flex mat stabilization up on Lawrence Hill part of the project. I've got 150-foot section left to do on Purcell Hill right at Canada's Hollow intersection. Right now, we are in the middle of our road projects. And everybody else in this general area of the county is in the middle of their projects too, so. All the rain this summer is pretty much pushed the schedule in, so it's crunch time now and there's 4 different contractors all working in the area and everybody all wants to work on the same day. So we had Sue was here last week. We did a hot mix overlay on the Lawrence Hill east and west. Was 2.5 inch on the center line because the road was so out of shape. It ended up being probably about 4 inches up on the shoulder, just to try and true the road back up. We also had Midland asphalt here with a reprofile machine. And we added 3 inches of crush run on the entire length of Lawrence Hill from east and west to the dead end. Ground that into the existing asphalt surface and injected calcium for stabilization. Today we started the cold mix overlay on Lawrence Hill north and south. We've got the southbound lane done. We'll finish the northbound lane tomorrow. And not next week, but the following week, Midland Asphalt will be back and we will install that whole entire length of road. So we've also been filling various potholes in town with the cold mix. The mower's been plugging right along on the second round. He's at our shop right now, done with that south end of 37, gonna make the turn and head north on 37, then down to 36. And we've also been helping our neighbors, like stated before, East Bloomfield and South Bristol. And we'll be going down to Naples later this week. The discussion over the propane contract here. I did go out and get a couple quotes for purchasing our own tank. The thought being if we're gonna play this number game every year and, we get a lower number from Blue Horizon, our current supplier, that gives us the flexibility to go with a lower number and not have to pay the current supplier to come pump the tank off, credit us back what's in it, and then come remove their tank so I can have a new tank installed.
A lot of it.
Yeah, yeah,
He also, Also, Jeremy also indicated that we would get a better price if we had our own tank.
Yep,
So that's another thing to think about.
no code, no, actually, no, it was Superior that stated that if we owned our own tank, we would get a better price.
Right, but then you're also responsible for the maintenance.
You are responsible for the maintenance, correct?
Not a whole lot.
Right.
Understood.
We discussed it a few times and it seems to be the best course of action, and Jeremy, I appreciate your efforts on that.
Well, buying one that's already there, buying from buying it from Superior.
That might be a possibility,
Yeah, and then you just paint the tank.
right?
You could at least have some extra numbers.
Yep.
Yep.
And then there's also been some discussion about, adding a second roadside mowing tractor to the fleet to, keep up with our mowing demands. I did give you a list of, prices that I got from two different vendors. I do have another one that I received Saturday that's, a competitive bid with the smaller size tractor. Using the diamond mower from Stevenson Equipment that comes in at $80,989.
So
Just
has
something to
something
think
changed?
about, discussion.
Has something changed? I mean, because we've had two tractor mowers forever.
We've just had one for probably the past 10 years,
One,
just the one tractor. I mean, Tim does an awesome job. But obviously, we're, it takes a lot of time to get around town with one tractor.
do you mow the shoulders on 36 down to Naples?
We stop right at Crossroad. The county actually brings their tractors all the way out here. And they do from where we leave off, but like East Lake Road,
Okay.
all the way down into.
You see where it gets real wide? That's what the county's doing.
And they come down and they do that, and they go over and do County Road 21.
Hmm.
So it's just some information for discussion.
What's the lead time on a new tractor?
The Massey Ferguson with the Diamond would be beginning of next year. The Alamo mowers are more like May. He said that it's a pretty substantial. lead
Okay,
time.
so I guess
Yeah, but that-
my real question, I didn't ask her, right? When would you have to place an order to have it for next summer's mowing season?
So.
But by the end of the year,
During budget season.
yeah,
Get done.
So this
And-
is something we can look at as part of the 2025 budget.
That's why we're doing it.
Correct, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is
I'm
part of,
trying to.
oh, no, absolutely, exactly.
And
That's why we're
what's
doing it.
the preference with,
well, looking at the pricing. The Alamo mower seems ridiculously priced to me. And in the one case, the mower was more than the actual cost of the tractor to run it.
right,
I guess ideally, this option down at the bottom that I have underlined, the John Deere tractor with the diamond mower. That seems to be the least expensive price. We currently are running diamond mowers, so it would be the same blade setup as we currently have, most likely the same bearings, that sort of thing.
Spare parts.
We already have on the shelf.
okay. And you said you got another quote today
Yep, I did get it today.
and different.
This, that goes back to this Massey Ferguson, is the tractor manufacturer.
With
it-
Diamond
And then it's the Diamond 60-inch side mount mower.
and
So they're,
if you had to decide between the John Deere and the Massey, what would you do?
the price difference is just a couple $100.
Ow.
The nice thing about the Massey and the John Deere is because they work together with each other. The tractor would be drop shipped out to Syracuse to the Stevenson Equipment to put the mower on. And then ship back to us, so we wouldn't have to do any of the transportation on the tractor itself, whereas John Deere, we'd have to
Run around.
get the tractor delivered to the shop, somehow get it out to Syracuse and then get it back to us. So
Okay.
That's a big savings.
for a couple $100, I think that pretty much
You
a
do the
wash
Massey.
right there. Yeah,
Okay,
by switching down to the smaller tractor. It puts you in a different emissions category where that diesel exhaust fluid isn't required, and then it doesn't have a regen process to it. And we currently already have the bigger tractor, so.
Does it take any longer to mow with the small?
No. Yeah, it's pretty
Are
much the
these
same size.
traditional mowers or are these the ones on an arm where you can?
This one would be mounted right to the side and it just
So,
goes
yeah,
up
just-
and down.
Okay. I see quite a few of them that are like.
Yeah, that's what we currently have, so we can reach back behind the guide rail, reach up on the side of the bank, so. The way the towns that have two of them do it right now is they run a smaller tractor, mows to the ditch. And then the boom tractor comes along and mows the backside of the ditch, and then another pass behind that, or behind the guide rail. So they're working together to get the length of the road done,
quicker.
yeah. Obviously, this would be. You know, when I have a guy to spare, he would sit in it, or I would jump in it for the day, you know, I'm not necessarily thinking we need to hire a second. Seasonal guy on just to do roadside mowing, but
And the other thing we
for the
want,
most part, we're slow enough where I can. Spare a guy and put in that,
You also made note that there's potential for a fourth trip to offset the purchase price.
yep,
And
so,
that's because Ontario County reimburses.
yep, right now.
Okay,
The way the contract is, they require. 2 trips during June 7th to August 15th. Obviously, we're closing up on that August 15th and we haven't been down to 36 yet for our second trip.
right,
And that's not even doing the whole entire right of way. The first trip is just 2 passes,
knocking it down.
just knocking it down, right?
Yep.
So we run into that situation where. You can't start too early because you make your first pass. And then a week later, it looks like you hadn't even been there,
Right,
you know, especially with all the rain that we've gotten this year. But it's like that with every road that we mow, you know, you go back to it 2 weeks later and it's like, man, he was just here, but it doesn't look that way. So with the boom mower right now, the county reimbursement is Tim's hourly wage. And then it's $50.90 an hour of the equipment time. With just that one single mower, it's $40.36 an hour, so it's basically $10 cheaper
okay,
to have just that other mower. So we usually get 3 runs in a year, but there is the potential to have that 4th run in. And even mow on the 3 runs that we do on the county roads, be able to do the entire right of way
mhm,
and log more time for reimbursement that way, even if a fourth trip isn't possible.
gotcha,
and the other rationale is when we have downtime with either piece of equipment, we've got a mower that can do some mowing.
Yeah,
Keep
we've had
things-
pretty much every week, we've had a breakdown on the tractor.
how old is the
It's
current tractor?
2013. The tractor is, and the mower was replaced in 2019. It's just wear and tear items, hydraulic hoses.
Right.
Every day he breaks 2 or 3 blades, depending on what he hits that's buried in the grass, so
Right, what's the life cycle on the tractor?
10 years.
It's time.
Well, it's time to look at
That's what we're doing.
Okay,
Yeah, I've got
This one will last longer than one, this thing when we have it, we gotta replace that eventually too.
right.
I've got the tractor.
Closer than eventually, yeah,
Right.
okay.
I've got the tractor.
I don't wanna wait any longer.
2027 in the replacement schedule for 2027.
Great,
Because right now, that's the older style tractor before the emissions, so there isn't really any issues with the tractor itself, so. We'd like to keep running that for a little bit longer just to make it-
avoid,
yeah,
yeah. Understood, thank you.
Appreciate your efforts with this.
Mhm.
So again, this is part of our budget process to have these numbers and certainly we'll be able to have more capacity.
yeah. When I turn my budget stuff in, I will give you the equipment schedule for the year. I'll give you 2 copies, one with a mower expense in it and then another one without the mower expense in it, so. Just so there's comparison anyways.
Okay, I like the more expense. We'll make that happen.
Yeah, that is all I got.
I have a quick comment. I try to steer people to you, Jeremy, if they have a compliment for the guys or for you, because I think it has more impact, but that doesn't mean I'm successful. So there've been 2 separate residents who have commented on what a good job you guys did on the parking lot. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of it.
Great, thank you.
What parking lot's this?
The town hall.
Just checking for clarification.
Yeah, that.
I think that's the only parking lot we have, public. I
Oh,
don't
you guys
consider the
swept?
highway department lot a parking lot.
Thank you for the
All
clarification.
that.
Pace turnaround.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Terry.
I'm gonna just cover what happened in the last 4 days.
Debbie.
4 days. You all have my written report, which I wrote Tuesday of last week. So everybody's acutely aware that the remnants of Hurricane Debbie came through Friday and Saturday morning. My 1C says, as we get cooler weather and high winds, expect to have a complete mixing event later in August. Well, it happened over the weekend. We had a complete mixing event. And the reason is, if you go to 1A, on Sunday, August 4th, the surface water was 80.6 degrees Fahrenheit. This morning, Monday, August 12th, it was 75.2 degrees. So basically a little over 5 degrees colder on the surface in 8 days. A little bit of limnology lesson. Cold water is more dense than warm water. So that cold surface water sank to the bottom and turned the lake over. That's what happened. Now for Kate's benefit, we will see sometime in about a week. Typically, we'll see an increase in blue-green algae blooms. We will find out. But that is the big news in the lake. And the only 2 other things I want to just touch on real briefly. The DEC has publicly indicated that they're going to have a report and a virtual information system. They're meeting on early 2025 and why they didn't get the expected results on the elm treatment. Much to I keep after that. And lastly, for you, Chris, I don't know when your next PEQ meeting
Just
is,
had one today.
huh?
Had one today.
Well, then maybe you know the answer to this. Has the contracted purchase order gone out for the boat cleaning station?
Crickets.
Nothing,
Crickets.
no.
Didn't hear anything.
I'll leave it with you. So I'm about ready to take it off because I'm the messenger here. I have no control. I have no control. This is county. So I don't know when we'll see it. That is my update.
Terry. A lake club,
Huh?
the lake club will rise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
7 inches.
7 inches.
Sorry.
The lake level was 1 inch above the weir before Hurricane Debbie came through, and after it went through, it was 8 inches above the weir. So the lake level is 804, basically 0.0.
How are they coming on getting the shale out of the creek?
Hmm?
How are they coming on getting the shale out of the creek? The
That is
dredge
like the
permit.
boat cleaning station.
What?
No, Milk
It
Creek,
isn't the same thing.
Okay,
It's in a different organization.
okay,
So, one more time. They got the permit. They have grant funding. They're working on Mill Creek, stabilizing the banks and putting cleaning stations to reduce the shale coming down Mill Creek to the outlet. They have to complete that. Then the town of Richmond has to request an emergency permit to go into the outlet creek to remove the DEC will not let them do.
both at the same
So,
time.
right, they want to do the Mill Creek first, deal with the source, then deal with the issue.
Cool, okay,
It's like the boat cleaning station, but that is the
right,
the.
the gist, okay. One thing you might want to hear, I owe Betsy Landry kudos email. I called Sunday night and asked for the harvester. And they were there Monday morning at 10 AM
Yep,
last week. So I walked out and said thank you.
Yes.
So I promise I will send her an email.
the residents are very happy with our program. In fact, we actually approved next year's budget for it. It's gonna be very,
Excellent,
very similar. The labor will be a little
yeah,
more.
she's had a complete turnover in crew, but the current crew is very efficient.
very,
We have a lot of retained people. We only have one new person.
Well, I'm thinking
Okay,
historically.
okay.
Yeah, maybe from last year to this year. Yes, yes. But if I go back 10 years ago,
Well, yeah,
you know. It's a total change.
thank you.
it's a laborious job. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Back to my notes. Assessor's report was provided. Any questions? Water district operations, Kate.
So water usage for July was up slightly from last year, 91,000 gallons. Nothing of further note. And you also received a second quarter maintenance report. And if you'll notice at the bottom, this year it was just shy of $7,000. Last year, second quarter was almost $12,000. And as a reminder, we had that lightning strike last year, which cost us approximately $5,000. So maintenance is going smoothly and nothing out of the ordinary.
Questions? Thank you, Kate. Financial report was available for your review. And again, summary on the back. Let's see the investments.
Mhm.
Again, now we have ACH, so we'll be able to capitalize our investments even more swiftly. Eventually looking at long-term investments for highway reserve for a new highway barn and Jersey Hill. Once we get some figures, we'll start setting up that reserve, but that's gonna happen within the next year.
So I see CDs in the budget report and the investment accounts still off to the side. Am I reading that correctly?
Well, there's this, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Okay,
So this, on the back page is the detail
right,
of where everything is. And now we have New York class, which we didn't have before, but that gives us total liquidity. when those payments come in off cycle, if you will, because these CDs are locked in by a certain time.
Right. If you look on the balance sheet,
Mm.
the CDs are all included in the financial report.
Yep.
The investment in securities are still outside of the financial report. I did notice that.
Well, they're listed as assets. Page 1 of 1.
A four
Balance sheet.
52, yeah.
Right.
If you want, I can follow up with Krista and just ask what, what the rationale is there. She may have gotten feedback from the auditors.
Okay.
Okay, I will send her an email and I will copy you.
I'll need a motion to approve that report.
I make a motion to approve.
Terry seconds.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain. Okay. Good day. Eileen,
Yes, thank you.
thank you. Unfinished business, we had our NYMER training. It went well. In fact, it was extensive, and a good observation I got was from someone who worked for another employer, and she said that our training that we attended was more thorough than her employers.
Hmm.
So that was pleasing to hear.
Mhm.
So, and I've kind of felt that way too, because I've taken a number of different trainings. The NYMER training is actually pretty good. And there were 2 separate modules. There was a 2-hour training. So that's something we'll continue, and it certainly helps us. And that training. We've had challenges with residents every once in a while, and that training certainly helps us in those interactions. I could say that. I'm looking at 2 departments where it comes up, and it came up a lot recently, unfortunately, with our CEO. Department. That's just not acceptable. The day of service, day of caring, again, September 27th. And I'll be getting a task list, so they will have that next meeting. I will need some help, and we'll talk more about that. The next one is the resolution. We've got the outstanding resolution for NOCO for the 2-year contract. I read another one for the propane contract to be awarded to Superior. Discussion. We need to move on propane sooner than later. Or you know what, we're gonna be needing propane.
Mhm.
You made 2. Let's see.
Well, that was last month in your last month's
Right.
package, so we tabled it. Because we wanted more discussion. So here's the discussion. And now, just to keep things going, if we stay with Superior, it's 1 year. And we don't have to worry about pump out or anything else, so because it might be difficult for, I throw a lot on Jeremy, but for Jeremy to get a new tank in there, or pump out the old tank, or buy the old tank.
Well, I can only speak for myself, but it would seem like we almost have to do a 1-year contract with Superior because of the tank. And we can look in the 2025 budgeting process, whether we wanna. That's my
I
perspective.
totally agree. That's a thought.
Mhm.
So I think it's kind of like almost have to do a 1 year.
That's.
Just so I understand. So we got a bid from NOCO that's 20 cents a gallon cheaper,
Mhm.
but that's on the assumption that we have our own tank, is that?
Yes. Not, yes. Or they bring one in, whatever it is, it's good. I don't want to deal with it. Basically,
How many gallons do we use?
don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't.
So. We propose that we stay with Superior because of the tank situation.
Yeah.
That-
And I think they came back with another one after she printed this one, it was 10 cents closer. To NOCO.
I would say we don't know how much we use yet, because we just switched the HVAC system in this building, so it hasn't even.
But it's mostly for highway.
Yeah, I am the main
Consumer,
consumer of propane.
Well, that and
Just-
the
you
water
can stand in
district.
inside my
Water,
building
yeah.
and look through the walls.
Yeah,
When you pull a truck in that's covered with snow and it's 10 degrees outside, it takes a long time to heat that truck back
I
up.
also assume that the town is doing the pre-buy. So Rick could be the $1.89, not the $1.99.
Okay, well, the concern I had was about the employee
Mm-hmm,
benefit,
mm-hmm.
okay? That from the perspective of if you've got money to give to certain individuals because of the relationship with the government, shouldn't that discount savings be shared by everyone in the town? And thus reflected in the price of the town?
So the explanation for that is because town employees. And there are other large companies. That do similar things, you have to make sure that you're not the only group receiving that service. And it's referred to as shadow sales. Not everyone in the town uses Superior as their propane provider. And so you can't extend that same savings to everyone unless they start switching out tanks. And so what happens is if you have a company that's willing to do business with you, you in turn provide that company's employees or a broader community with a discounted rate as shadow sales.
And I'd also like to make a comment because over the years, other employees who have different propane providers would tell their provider what Superior was giving us, and their provider would match it. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's just a savings for taxpayers. I think it's just, it sounds to me like a business practice of these propane companies, because the other companies would give their customers the same price just so that they wouldn't switch to Superior.
Right, right. And like I say, it's not just propane companies that do it.
Cell
Many
phone
large-
companies have similar. amount.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, they're good about it.
I will tell you right now, I'm uncomfortable with it.
Okay,
It still
You
doesn't,
can, you can vote against it.
it doesn't seem,
Did Sheila look into that? I thought she was gonna look into the ethical side of that.
She saw no issues and understood it's been done everywhere for many
it is a
years.
practice, yes.
It's a common practice.
And I guess to me, my question would be, is Superior gonna give anybody else, is Superior gonna give the town a cheaper rate because we're going with them, whether employees get a discount or not? I don't think the employees having a discount affects what they give us. But I don't know if anybody's ever asked that.
I think we just reach out to them and give them a quote, and then the employee component is an add-on to their.
So the Superior contract. What is the town rate and what is the employee rate?
Town rate is $1.89 with the pre-buy,
Yeah,
and the employee rate is $1.99 or $1.89 pre-buy.
dollar what? 99?
Or $1.89 with pre-buy. And what has happened in the past is Krista provides Superior a list of town employees. So that when you call, you're recognized as a town employee.
Yeah, but I didn't get the second number. You gave two numbers for employees.
$1.89, $1.99.
$1.89 is the pre-buy. And you have to, I think, commit to 300 gallons.
Otherwise,
propane.
it's $1.99.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
so. It just so happens that I use Superior.
Mhm.
So I call them. And I do pre-buy, I should be able to get $1.89
Mhm.
once it's contracted in place.
Yep.
Once the contract.
Yep, and they also waive the $95 fee.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right,
No, I was just trying to understand.
right.
$99 fee for
administrative
fee.
program costs,
Yeah.
they call it.
And just so you know, I've already talked to them also. They're not even waiting to, because I told them the town was looking at another contract and I said, is this going to affect my ability to do the pre-buy? And she said, no, we'll still give it to you for this season. So even if we went with NOCO, they're going to give us as employees that rate. But I have no problem asking them if they would be giving the town a different rate if none of us purchased from them as employees. I'll ask them that because I don't think they're going to give the town a different rate. I just don't, but I'll ask.
It'd
I,
be a good question to ask.
I don't think they will, Eileen, because they are on the New York State bid contract.
So to me, that means that our getting a discount is not, to me, that's not an ethical issue then.
Right.
Because if
Right.
none of us purchased it and only the town bought it, and that's the rate they're gonna give us, then the taxpayers are not getting any different effect.
And that
But that's
brings,
just my interpretation.
and that brings a good point too. If they're on the New York State bid contract, they've been vetted. So
Yeah.
the situation
Yeah,
is certainly out there.
That is
But
true.
They wouldn't be on a New York State bid contract.
right,
By any stretch of the imagination.
right.
Because I don't want any special treatment either, other than any other taxpayer.
And I don't even have propane, but I'd like to see us go with Suburban or whatever. I use oil heat, so I'm benefiting it all here.
Well, I go back to my point. To me, it's still, it's a budgeting discussion because
Right,
if
because of
we're
the
gonna
tank.
open the door to go with somebody other than Suburban, then we have to deal with Jeremy's tank.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Do we also have to deal with the water district tanks?
That's the same. It's the same. Oh, don't we own those?
I don't know.
I was in charge of the water district. But I gotta find out. Whoever does the water district, whoever does the water, that I don't know. I don't know.
She wasn't in charge of it when it was installed.
Oh, who's that? Who is that?
It was Mark Melmandeer.
Oh, Mark.
Let me,
You know, one more reason to bring Mark back in. He was only zooming in when we needed him.
I know.
I think Kate has got the ball.
yeah, let me find out.
That'd be probably the quickest way.
She can figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
So just for reference, when I've called, in fact, when I called this year, until they set a town rate, they won't guarantee me
Correct.
as a person.
They told me the
and
same
give me a
thing.
Rate, so it's not the other way around.
Right,
They're not asking how much am I gonna buy, say, when we set the town rate, then we give you your rate.
mhm,
So it follows, it doesn't leave.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, so approve the resolution.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution with Superior for propane for the upcoming heating season 24, ending in twenty
I would
twenty-five,
like to
April 30th.
Second that.
Kate second, though, discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
I,
Okay. Did you get that, Eileen?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good discussion. And always, please continue,
Mhm.
do what you're doing. We need that. Okay, moving right along, setting time and place. Talk about budget season. It is budget season, which will be again September 4th at 7 o'clock. Excuse me. But
No, that's the regular meeting.
correct, which is the regular meeting, and then we'll be talking about this as well. I want to get this out there for September 26th.
24.
24.
Yes, it's on the 24th,
That's the budget workshop. So when's the town board meeting? It's
September
The
4th.
fourth.
We have meetings every 3 weeks now.
if you say so.
We do. Just for 2 months.
For 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next one is public hearing to entertain comments September 4th pertaining to fire protection district contracts.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. Those in favor?
aye.
Alright. Discussion on that is, they do want to meet with me perhaps even this week, and I've encouraged them to come September 4th. And our budget workshop, so
Both.
why not? There's questions.
No, that's great.
Yeah, they
That's
actually want to
fine.
meet with me this week as well.
Both fire
They are
districts.
trying to get their financials in line with actuals for 23, 22. What was year to date for 24, and then what they want for 25
Beautiful.
comparisons. And if they give a percent column, we'll be happier.
Mhm.
Like we don't have to do the math. Okay,
Prevent them from dragging out.
yeah, no, the leadership's a little different this year, and we got a nice, the person who did the financials for them last year. Last year was her first year, but she had a hard time getting them to move along, so looks like it's working better this year. Um, town board supporting the Justice Court grant. It's essentially writing a grant for up to $30,000. The town board is authorizing the town court to file an application for this grant.
I make a motion to approve that.
So my question before we approve the resolution,
Yes,
because we had talked in 2022 about doing a grant for the town court,
yes.
and we decided to hold off on it.
Mhm.
And at the same time, we had started the HVAC project for both buildings. And we intentionally set aside the court building and said, we're not gonna do anything. So one of my questions is, how will projects for that building be prioritized? Because $30,000 is not a lot of money.
That's a good question for the court, and I could not get much information out of them. This is all they wanted. And details will come out later. That's what I was told.
I'm concerned about prioritization, because I'll bet there's a list of projects for that building.
I totally agree.
Okay, and if I understand the grant correctly, it's matching. So what they're asking the town to commit to is approximately $30,000. Should we or should we not, get some sense of, because they also have to do work and go out for bids so that they can submit it with the grant. I had an extensive conversation with the Steve Engard, who was then the town court clerk, sorry.
Correct. Okay. So I've actually asked for that information. I didn't get anything.
Okay.
So we can table that. It's up to the board.
I would like,
I was told that this was just so that they could file for the grant, and that what they
Right.
were gonna use the grant for would be compiled if they were approved to even file for it. Cause I asked, when Steve sent that email, and I believe I forwarded the grant, the information I had, I forwarded to at least Christopher, if not the whole town board.
okay,
And I asked him, because the other resolutions that Stephanie and I looked at, did he list what the grant was going to be used for?
right,
And Steve said that this was just allowing them to file for it, and that if they were allowed to file, then they would look at what the money would be used for. I didn't hear anything about a match, so I don't know about that.
okay. And I do have experience with New York State grants. Anytime that we have filed, and I've done 3 of them, we had to justify the need for the grant.
Okay,
And-
and again, you'd have to talk to Steve again, because when I asked, he said this was just to allow them to at least get approval to file for it.
Okay,
Not get the grant, just file for it. So you'd have to ask him. I didn't see any of that paperwork.
okay,
I did ask for some backup and I got nothing,
okay.
unfortunately.
So Eileen, what is the due date for this?
I wasn't given that either.
My concern is,
I'm-
there's usually you have to file your application by a certain date.
Oh, yeah,
And I just don't know how much time there is in here.
I know.
I got a feeling.
Did you all get a copy of that email? Because I can
I-
forward it to you if Christopher's the only one
No,
that's got it.
I think
Wow.
it was just to me, as I recall.
He sent it the day of the town board meeting last month. So that's
Yes.
why nothing was
Yep.
done before this.
Correct.
So they're asking us for permission for them to file for a grant up to 30,000.
Right, well, I think the grant is $30,000.
Up to.
I don't remember. I
Up to.
don't.
Yes,
think.
It's a max.
yes.
Here says up to, right?
Okay,
Yes,
So, I mean. So we can approve it, they may or may not do it, they're, what, just asking our permission if they can file for a grant?
so,
That was my understanding.
And I would
Is that
piggyback on that, Rick.
Right.
They want our approval that we had approved them filing for a grant, but to Kate's point, they would have to prepare a detailed grant
you have to do a grant,
application
you're right,
saying what it is
right,
with bids and which we would again have to approve.
so this letter basically,
Correct. There would be another, at least one more resolution that would have to be approved if they're told they can file for the grant.
But if we don't approve this, then they're not gonna do
they're
the
not gonna
detailed
do any work.
application.
Okay,
Correct.
okay.
That was
okay.
my understanding.
and it does say within this 24-25 grant cycle, and that very well
Yeah.
could be September
So
30th.
I don't
could be
think this
September
is the
1st.
final. I think this is just,
They're just asking, can we?
Yeah.
And so what, from this, we probably have to plan for 30,000 in the budget next
It'd
year.
be nice to know that. I get no information on that,
Okay.
None.
Okay,
nothing. I've asked for it.
We already moved and seconded, right?
mhm.
No. I don't think I've got to move in a second yet.
no,
Do I?
Okay. Do you want to keep it moving to the
yeah,
next
I'll
step?
second.
Okay. With the caveat that we need information at the next board meeting.
So
Yes.
I'll leave that with Chris. But yes. Can't have a blank check. I mean,
Exactly.
Thank you.
I don't think this is asking for a blank check, but that's fine. You know, obviously you need more information. So
Okay.
I've
what are
never
we
heard of writing
doing?
a grant
Mhm.
application with no idea what it's gonna be for.
But this isn't a grant application.
No, they're asking to file,
Does
The
the
board
board approve
authorizes
them,
to file an
allowing
application.
them? Yeah,
Why?
Right. And like I say, you're committing to $30,000 when you okay this.
no, that's the grant size.
I
Matching
believe
funds.
it's, I
no,
believe it's
no,
match.
you're,
Probably a local match.
but if whatever they
Doesn't
want to
say
do is
that.
15,000, it's, the grant's not going to be 30.
Right,
It says up to 30,000 from the state of New York.
right.
It doesn't say what, if any, local match is required. We need a
Right.
whole lot more detail here.
Yes.
My concern is I don't know the dates when things have to be submitted.
Mhm.
I got, that's,
I hear you.
yes. Yes.
If it wasn't until October, well, then fine, we could
We could attempt it,
request
yeah.
more information and
Cause they can come back with what their grant application is.
is it for
So
new?
I just
Is it for new
forward the,
furniture? Is it for new HVAC equipment? What is it?
I just forwarded the email that came in the day of the last meeting to Christopher and to Kate. I'm at the new computer, will not bring up Rick or Terry's email easily. So Kate or Christopher, if you would please forward it to them, you'll see what I received. I think he wanted the board to discuss it. And the letters there.
I have
And
a
then
letter
that's-
right in front of me. I could read it in entirety.
And he addressed the letter to me because that's what the court told him to do.
Okay,
Sure.
The town court is requesting authorization from the Canada Town Board to apply for funding for the Justice Court Assistance Program during the upcoming grant cycle. One required component of this application is a resolution from the town board authorizing the town court to apply for this funding. The Division of Professional and Court Services will not accept the court's application unless the resolution incorporates the following statement exactly, uppercase, capitalized, underlined, as written below. The Town Board of Canada authorizes the Town of Canada Court to apply for a JCAP grant in the 24-25 grant cycle up to $30,000.
Okay, so I'm gonna sound like Kate. Is there a local match required or not?
Right.
We don't know. We have no, I've asked for background, I've got nothing, crickets. And then the last 3 sentences, while this resolution may include one or more whereas clauses, it is essential that be it resolved, be a portion of the board's resolution be worded exactly as indicated above. In addition, the board resolution must be certified. Thank you for your attention to this matter and your help with the court's application. Steve Edgar.
That's cool. I have no objection whatsoever to the request. We need to know for the budget, is there a match required? And, how will we interact with, whoever is submitting the grant so that we can agree on priorities?
Agreed? Totally,
Okay,
absolutely. So
I agree.
okay.
So do you have that stipulation, Eileen?
No,
The board? From the board? Not from the.
so, okay, who's the motion and second and then the stipulation?
Terry motion, Kate second.
Okay, okay. And the stipulation?
Let me get your.
Details.
Yeah, this is a conditional approval for this resolution. The town board needs to understand if there is a match. And that's for the budget cycle for the coming year. And how will we be involved in setting priorities?
I.e. how the money is good to use.
Yeah,
How about I just put conditional approval upon details being provided to the town board?
that's fine. And then we do an official approval next month.
Correct, and
so that-
that's if you, yeah,
so
whatever he
Steve
comes
knows
up
that
with,
He's gotta help us out.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
okay.
The good thing is we meet in 3 weeks.
right, that's true. And I'm assuming that he's got access to the JCAP grant. And its conditions, its requirements. Cool.
Yeah, he's been through that grant process before.
He did indicate that to me, which
Yes.
I think is a bonus for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But from
He
a
also
different,
said it's been a while.
from a different angle. yeah.
Okay,
It was 2017, I believe, but don't quote me.
okay,
And the way that grant, my understanding is the way that grant works. You're only gonna get that so many go arounds, so you wait your turn, let other courts get it and then go back in, so.
that
now
makes
it's-
sense.
it's
Well,
That
fine.
makes sense.
And we might not even get it.
There's insufficient information here.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, we're not
Agreed.
standing in the way. We just
We might
need
as
some
well
help
move
here.
on.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. And those in favor?
hi,
Aye. So that carries unanimously with the stipulation. For the formality of the relocation for the municipal water line being moved on the Ewing property. Just want to formally give you that resolution. And that was reviewed by Sheila.
cool. Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
That carries. Thank you. Approval of the bills.
I have one question. I think it may have been the same one you mentioned there, the bill for August 15th. Something there's,
Oh, Impact Earth, yes.
do they pre-bill or?
Well, they pick up organics once a month.
Yeah, I know, they're billing for something supposedly, I think they did August 15th.
The date of the service is the 15th?
Back up, little question marks.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Good.
It's $43, that I know.
That wasn't a huge amount.
Oh, no. 33.
While you're looking, I had a question.
Sure.
One of the bills in there is to fix the handicap button on the town hall.
Yes,
And if I remember correctly, the security system here has parts in it that if they fail, they are not able to be replaced.
Really?
I think so. This came up a year and a half ago or so. My question is, do we need to revisit replacing the system? I know it came up for discussion once and we said, nope, we're gonna live with it for a while.
Might be time and maybe even yet another budget item.
Okay,
Moving around.
do you wanna quote?
Sure,
Okay, as long as I'm assisting with
sure,
maintenance and grounds. Okay,
sure.
okay.
I think you'd be director. I'll be deputy.
does anybody know of another company that we could get a quote from?
Absolutely.
What is it?
Shield Alarm,
Who?
Shield Alarm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And you can
Okay,
always reach out to the county too, whenever you want, looking for extra bidders. You might even get some, that's, we can take you there.
okay, so how far would you go with replacement? Cause we have town hall, we have the court, and we have the highway, right? Are you on security?
Yep.
Yeah. Would we replace the whole shooting match or one at a time?
What-
Are they all the same age?
Probably.
Probably. I don't have any real issues with mine.
Yeah, hard to get,
Other than the 3 button on the keypad is,
Shot.
works half the time, yeah. You gotta sit there and press it and make sure you hear the thing beep, beep, just like, walk out.
Does anybody know how old it is?
He's used to it.
Yeah, 20, approximately 20 years old. Yeah, same age as the building.
That was set.
We have the camera systems with them as well.
Correct. Correct.
well, I think go with the one right now. You can certainly check with the court and see.
Well, I would do both of these buildings at the same time.
Let's do it.
I'll at least get quotes.
Seeing that this, the carbon monoxide or triggers each other,
Exactly.
And that system's been
and it triggers a text message.
going crazy. Right now, we can't even set the alarm for town hall again. That's
Yeah.
What?
Cause I had to only tell them.
Really?
Yep, and the assessor's panic button. I got an alert this morning. And I looked at the cameras. Oh, wait a minute, it's Monday, nobody's there.
Why, easy for me to say since you volunteered. Why don't you get a price for all three and make them individual prices? There you go.
What a novel idea.
Then it gives us some
I
numbers.
prefer to do a lot of
Gives
rework,
us some
Terry.
numbers.
The assessor's panic button is new though, so why is that going off?
It's brand new,
That's
It's
a good
brand
question.
new.
cause it's wired into
I
a
think it's,
20-year-old
I think it's sitting
system.
on my cabinet because of a battery issue, but I gotta talk to Holly tomorrow.
Yeah, alright, remind me not
It was
to
a
ask any
vacation.
questions.
I went off- Here you go, I went off because she came back from vacation, I can't say.
Well, I don't know what she'd be able to tell you. She wasn't here and hit the panic button.
I checked the camera, but she wasn't, I thought she might have came in, I thought she might have came in.
That damn
but I
chipmunk.
looked. That's why it's good to have the cameras. Anyways,
Maybe it's good.
in answer to your question about Impact Earth, that's a monthly thing, they pick up once a month. So that's a prepay,
That's the compost company.
organics,
Okay.
organics,
Mm-hmm,
different than compost,
mm-hmm,
next level.
mm-hmm. Okay.
So waiting for a motion to approve this, unless there's other questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes. Next week, I'll be going on a Finger Lakes Railway tour, and that's part of economic development. And the nice thing about that tour, and the town board member wanted to go, I may be able to get you on it. You can always ask. We're gonna get to see the county that you can only see from a railroad spur and look at what the different sidings look like and so forth. And we're gonna go from Canandaigua to Geneva, back over to Manchester. So we're gonna take the whole Finger Lakes loop. Should be neat to see.
What loop?
The Finger Lakes Railway.
Mhm.
Well, it's not quite a loop. It's more of a,
Back and forth,
Okay.
until it connects with other lines. But
forth and back.
there's even rails an underutilized asset. In fact, you know, as we get into our landfill discussions, which is coming up. The big solution too, instead of on the trucks, is they're putting the waste on rails. And they're going out to Ohio on the train with people's stuff. That's just one more thing. So, that's coming up. The, so as part of my responsibilities, again, representing the town, is I've got this 450 pages of information for the landfill. That's a draft report that we have to give feedback back to a consultant by Friday. And eventually this is gonna be a public document, but it's just a consultant's recommendation on what to do with the Ontario County landfill, whether that be maintain it just as is, expand it, or close it. Another option is to keep the MRF going. That's the recycling facility that's built in. There's lots and lots of stuff in there, and as I'm able to talk more about it, I'd be glad to. But it's definitely gonna have community discussion. The contract runs up in 2028. It's a big revenue generator for the county. And the more information I have, the more my position on it changes. I was steadfast one way, and as I get more information, suddenly I'm going over here, and it's interesting. But I probably know about this much, I can tell you that. It's very. You'll see this eventually. Ontario County budget, we did about $330 million worth of appropriations today. The Honeyway Sewer Lake District is gonna go up 2%, that I know. Hasn't been raised since 2021. Your sewer district tax. Let's see what else affected Canada East. Our wheat harvest is gonna go along again. We went a little extra on the labor, just to make certain if we get into a crunch at the end of the year that we can get things done at the end of the year for the wheat harvest.
Looking for a truck still?
What's that?
Are they looking for a truck still?
I can't answer that question. If we need something, Naples will give it to us. That's all I can, that's all I can tell you.
I think they're looking for a truck, but it's gotta be an automatic transmission.
Right. Yeah, just because the folks that we have working and have been working are comfortable with an automatic, and that's really all they need.
No, that's more than that. Their CDL is restricted to
Only
an automatic.
automatic.
Right,
It depends on what vehicle you take your CDL in.
I understand.
Yeah.
I had my thought on something. Oh, the inlet bridge has been approved, and that's gonna happen next year. So forth, so that's ready to go. Privilege of the floor for anyone else.
Yeah, can you give us a brief update on the engineering contractors work for Jersey Hill?
I'd love to. In fact, I called him last week and he said the survey was gonna happen last week, and he has not gotten back to me. So did you see the stakes there? And the stakes have been there, whether they've been surveyed or not, I don't know, but the survey's gotta happen. So
So you've seen no preliminary anything from them?
all I could do is call them, so I was a little disappointed. That I was hoping to have more information, but certainly by the next meeting they will, but I got another call on them today and didn't answer it.
Low bidder,
Second list.
low bidder.
So at the last board meeting, we talked briefly about looking at limits for short-term rentals. I think it was a conversation that we were having with Joe. Is there any further discussion that we should have on that?
It's the board's pleasure.
I know other towns are doing it.
I propose we wait to see what the state does, because the law is still sitting on Hope's desk to be signed.
Okay,
Yeah, once that happens, everything's gonna. It's gonna really be nice. We actually talked about that today too.
okay,
And waiting for that to happen, because it's impacted our county tax base. In other words, the short-term rentals are so popular now, it's visibly taken away from the hotel revenues. There's no
Mhm.
question.
oh, for
And
sure.
that playing field needs to be level. There's no question about it.
Interesting.
You know, and along with that, the regulation. And we know what the good ones are. It's the ones that aren't so good.
Mhm.
But, and some property owners are comfortable that they know what's gonna happen.
Uncertain why she has to sign it. Normally. once
Well, it took,
it's-
it went from the assembly to this senate. And then there was a dotted line to her desk and then hadn't gone, but now it's at her desk. And then there's still the dotted line where she signs it, so, but at least. It's on her desk.
It's there. And then the other question I've got is cloud permit, how we coming?
Good, we ran into some difficulties with their personnel, so they had their trainer and resigned, and then the second trainer they provided for us had resigned, so now we're dealing with Brown Dev. Who is the one of the partial owners of the
What are you talking about? I'm sorry.
cloud permit, it's a.
The
new
new
permitting software.
service for
Oh.
the CEO office.
But, and that's just for the data transfer, so as of right now, we're just putting in.
You're doing all the input? And so have we launched anything yet for residents?
Not yet.
Okay.
Still soft launch, just doing easier permits.
Got it. With you doing the input?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's
Really?
like as far as data.
So you don't think the residents are gonna stumble when we get it out there?
So cool. I mean, we still have certain ones that won't rent anything or can't go have an email address, but
We'll always have that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what we.
Good. Good. Great. Okay, thank you. Those were my questions.
Excellent. Well, there's, we gotta have some. We might have something else. Let me look.
Be quick, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Gonna count to 10 backwards, but
Oh, yes, this was kind of exciting that I was part of this process. We have a county park called Ontario County Beach Park. The problem is, there's no beach. The problem is, there's no swimming allowed.
You talking about Ontario County Park
Talking about Ontario Beach
one-
Park.
up on top of the hill?
No, I'm talking about Ontario Beach Park.
Where is it?
It's on Canandaigua Lake. You don't know where it is?
No.
Oh.
It gets confused with, yes, it gets confused with,
Run.
Lake Ontario. So we've had to fight tooth and nail. So it's been approved that we can rename it and tie it in with Deep Run Park. And then just by chance, one of the neighbors of Ontario Beach Park, the one with no beach and no swimming. And people drive there all for miles to go looking
Swimming.
for a beach. No, it can't be there, so they're going up private properties and looking for a beach. One of the adjacent property owners wants to donate some land or sell some land cheap to, so we might be able to expand that park.
Wow,
Yep, so that's a win. That's all I got.
nice.
So
make
are
a
they
motion to
they
adjourn.
haven't renamed it yet then?
We are going to form a committee and I was appointing somebody. for that.
Oh, my lord.
It wasn't I was directed, so I was, I was directing that meeting today and I was directed to nominate, so I got the supervisor of the town that resides in. So Gorham, Supervisor Gorham's gonna be on it, and it'll be somebody from several departments.
Nice.
Okay,
Is it gonna
All
take
right.
2 or 3 meetings?
What's the
Oh,
name-
and then
What's the name of the lady?
it gets better. Wait, time out. Then it was suggested that we have Ontario County employees vote on.
Oh, no.
We're gonna have
The
four different
name.
ones, and then vote on the names of the four best names, and then we can still overrule it and name it what we want.
Just pick one.
We're hoping that they pick a good. name.
Eileen, I made a
The-
motion
the-
to adjourn.
Boy,
second it.
it was for employee morale. It was for- And the director said, Tom Harvey, you know Tom Harvey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's retiring
Poor
finally.
Tom. Poor
He's
Tom.
retiring. He's going, it'll motivate employees if we encourage them to vote. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Meeting over.